2 years after the violence began in Manipur, finally, Chief Minister Biren Singh put in his papers today. This came hours after his meeting with Home Minister Amit Shah in the national capital. Remember, there was this entire chatter around the Congress party, which is the principal opposition in Manipur, moving a possible no-confidence motion against the Chief Minister. What had become a matter of huge concern for Biren Singh was also that the alliance partner, the NPP, had said that there was a possibility that the MLAs who sought a chance in the leadership in the state would have disregarded a party whip in case of a floor test. So in order to avert a possibility, the Chief Minister stepped down after meeting the central leadership. We are being joined by Ratandeep, who has been tracking the story very closely. Ratandeep, around 12 MLAs were strongly pushing for a leadership change. There were also 6 to 7 fence sitters. So it was only a matter of time that he could have been voted out on the floor of the house. That would have been more embarrassing for the BJP. So BJP, in fact, trying to counter that embarrassment by ensuring that the Chief Minister goes on his own.
Absolutely, and that's what we are picking up from our sources within the party in Manipur, that is a major concern that had resulted in this decision. Remember, for the past close to 2 years, there have been demands for his removal. First, by the Kuki Zomi civil society groups after the May 2023 ethnic riots. Remember, there are 10 MLAs from the Kuki Zomi community, including 7 of them from the BJP. And they have outrightly demanded at that point of time his removal, which the central leadership of the BJP were opposed to. In fact, in this close to 2 years, ever since the ethnic conflict had taken place in the state and a series of flare-ups that had taken place, the central leadership of the BJP had backed Mr. Biren Singh, given the fact that the central leadership, what we have been given to understand, felt that his presence as a chief minister was required in terms of bringing normalcy. And in fact, the chief minister and his office, along with the central forces, have been able to restore peace to some extent, given the fact that in the last 2 months, there have been no major flare-up. And this opportunity has been taken by Centre to send a permanent governor to Manipur, Mr. A.K. Bhalla, the former Union Home Secretary. He is the new Manipur governor. Ever since he took charge there have been several rounds of security meeting, a new push by MHA in terms of ensuring that no more violence takes place and a path towards peace, a path towards negotiation starts. But amid all this, what we are picking up is that from tomorrow onwards, as the budget session of the Manipur Assembly is to start, the Congress had already said that they plan to move a no-confidence motion against the Manipur government. Now, against the Biren Singh-led government, but Congress of its own only has 5 MLAs. So, Congress of its own was not in a position to perhaps dislodge the Biren Singh government. The situation really became difficult after in November last year, NPP, Conrad Sangma's party, withdrew support from Mr. Biren Singh's government, and then Congress went to the Speaker's Tribunal asking for disqualification of 4 NPP MLAs who were otherwise supporting Biren Singh. In the same way, Congress went to the Speaker's Tribunal, asked for disqualification of 5 JDU MLAs who sources within the BJP said would have supported Mr. Biren Singh. And as you have pointed out, that there are at least a dozen BJP MLAs who are hardcore opponent of Mr. Singh and a half a dozen fan-sitters. So therefore, the number game between those who support Mr. Singh and those who are opposed to Mr. Singh within the BJP were now very close. And therefore, if in the Speaker's Tribunal, these 9 MLAs of the JDU and NPP put together were disqualified, then the number game would have not added up in favor of the Chief Minister. That's what some of the sources within the BJP in Manipur have given us to understand. So this is one reason, primary reason. Apart from that, there have been pressure building up. Remember, there was a time when Mr. Biren Singh wanted to resign, and he had sought an appointment last year after the violence. They had sought an appointment from the governor.
Yes, that's right.
And then he
Randeep,
was about
continue to be with us.
leave
We
his
have
residence
Swaz
when
Chakma,
supporters
Director of Rights and Risks Analysis Group, also joining us on this broadcast. We have Deepak Diwan, senior journalist from Manipur, former editor of Northeast Sun, joining us as well. Swaz Chakma, beginning with you, there have been repeated calls for Mr. Singh's resignation after the ethnic violence began between the Methi and the Kuki communities, since May 2023. It was only a matter of time that he would have gone, given the kind of new confidence that he enjoyed, not just in his state, but also within his party.
I think this is the best time for BJP to remove Biren Singh because he has become a liability. After the victory in Delhi, this is the opportunity to establish the moral high ground, saying that we have removed even somebody like Biren Singh. So that's one part. And apart from, I think, the number games, the assembly, I think one of the key factors is only 5 days back, the Supreme Court has directed CFSL to give the report with respect to the alleged audio tapes of Chief Minister Biren Singh, where he is accused of, inciting the violence. There is already a report before the Supreme Court from a private entity called the Truth Labs saying this is the voice of the Chief Minister. And now if, CFSL gives a report saying that this is the voice of Biren Singh, then I think it becomes extremely untenable for the union government to keep Biren Singh in power. So therefore, I think the number game in Manipur is another threat because those who are opposing Biren Singh for a long time, they have not changed their position, and I don't think they are in a position to go on the floor of the house and defy the whip or the central leadership. I think more we have to understand that I think this is the best time for the BJP after the victory in Delhi, and of course you do not know what report is going to come from the CFSL. So therefore, I think it's a very good preemptive action as far as the union government and the BJP leadership is concerned.
I can see Honu Hazul as well, senior journalist of Manipur. Deepak Diwan, coming to you. It's very clear that the Chief Minister's position had become untenable. He had, though, submitted his resignation for the first time in July 2023, but he took it back following protests from his own supporters.
The fact is, he never gave resignation to the governor. He gave it to the protesters who were protesting outside his house.
That's right.
To the women. So that resignation looked like more like a drama. It was not a resignation. It was just a public drama. So, but the thing is, what has happened in Manipur from May 23rd, 23, and has continued till now. I am surprised why did he not resign earlier? He was not asked to step down earlier. It is happening now when the charge is not only that he has failed to protect the people and their properties, whether it is cookies or metal both. The fact is now allegation is that the league points fingers towards him, that he has incited the Methi community and he has supported them against the other community. Still, the situation was seen in 1993, December 30.
We'll try and fix that line with Deepak Diwan. But Ms. Hazil, coming to you now as a journalist who has been tracking the politics and the entire state very, very closely, how are you looking at these developments which have come in few moments ago?
Hi, good evening. I was speaking to friends in Imphal and they said this was expected a long time ago. But the bigger question is really, does the removal also indicate that there's going to be a clearer roadmap for Manipur? Because this is something that we have been waiting right from the beginning. Merely removal of somebody, unless and until it amounts to a clearer and a more well spelled out and well-defined roadmap, I don't know what the future is. So right now, it's very, very clear that it's not just the removal that we want. We want a complete roadmap because it's going to be 2 years and it's beyond any limits of tolerance for people who have lost their homes. So I emphasize that again and again. 60,000 people have been misplaced, displaced. So what is the roadmap for them? What is the roadmap for us to get to a stage where we say that, okay, we're going to start afresh? So we need that along with this one. And it's a little, I guess it's not too late, but I guess we can always begin. And so long as there is a commitment and a clearer path for us, that it should not be a lingered on drama anymore. We want concrete step and a safe and a roadmap, a clear roadmap, because we deserve it now. It's going to be 2 years.
Okay, but the larger question is also that the timing of this, there was, all was not well within the BJP as far as the internal dynamics are concerned. There was a camp in favor of Biren Singh, a camp against him. And if you look at the visuals, it's very clear that Mr. Sambit Patra, who is the Northeast Manipur in charge for the party, accompanied the state president of the BJP, that is Mr. A. Sharda, and 19 MLAs who accompanied in submitting that resignation to the governor Bhalla. The question here is also, Mr. Chakma, that the center certainly was calculating that with presence of the new governor, they will be able to control the situation much better. The animosity which is there between the two communities, the Kukis and the Metis, that will somehow mean that they could have some kind of coexistence, that desire for hope, that's what they were hoping to build there. Do you think that his presence has added a great degree of faith, restoration, some kind of confidence building measure?
I think to some extent, because he was the Home Secretary when the riots started, it helps because he was in charge of the entire situation. He was briefed by the intelligence agencies, and he exactly knows what was wrong with Manipur at that point of time. But having said that, I think now the critical issue would be who is the chief minister. But I think with Biren Singh gone, he has become a divisive figure. So in that sense, I think it takes out the animosity which people had, because once again, he was or he has been such a controversial figure or divisive figure for both the communities. But when it comes to actual situation, improving the situation, I think it's very, very difficult because of the position which both the communities have taken. And we still have to recognize one particular fact, that the Metis and the Kukis, they are no longer living almost in each other's territories, both in the valley and the hills. So to create an atmosphere where the people could come back or could go back, Metis going back to the hills where they are, or the Kukis coming back to the valley, I think it would require certain amount of confidence building. And at this point of time, I would say that the community organizations, because of the politics,
and interestingly, in the run-up to this resignation, key administrative changes were also made in the hill districts without the chief minister's approval. So clearly, preparations for this impending exit of Biren Singh was happening perhaps for the last few weeks. B.L. Vora, former DGP of Manipur, joins us. Mr. Vora, Biren Singh certainly appeared to be very divisive in his role since 2023 May, when the violence began. Do you think his exit will calm down the tempers on the ground?
Yes, it will. It should. And this was a step which is long overdue. In fact, it should have been taken immediately after the last year's violence erupted and once his leanings towards the Metis were known. I have been saying all along on your channel and so many channels that this has to be the first step, and it was required, political decisions, economic decisions, administrative decisions, so many decisions have to be taken, but this is the first in the series which was required, long overdue, and I'm happy that finally the BJP or the central government has taken this step. It will definitely help. This also tells me that now a roadmap has been prepared, and according to which the government will start taking decisive action in the future, which will be overall good. And let's hope and pray that finally the peace returns to Manipur with, love between the two communities back.
Yes, and the political leadership of Mr. Biren Singh having been questioned repeatedly. There was an attack on his home as well. There was complete anger against the Chief Minister, who was appearing to be partisan in his role, backing a community over the other. I had traveled to Imphal for reporting this ethnic violence. We could see that entire movement from one city to another. It was almost like a border which was created between the two communities. That the fault lines were so sharp, and anguish so palpable after the violence had left several thousands, in fact, homeless.
Yeah, so as I said, so this is good now it has happened. Better late than never, as they say. So I hope now that things will improve slowly. It will take time. If this step had been taken earlier, things would have been better. But yet, as I said, better late than never. So let's hope for good steps in future, and let's hope that Manipur returns to peace.
Who do you think is best?
Mari.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, Mr. Vora, thank you so much for joining us. Let me go back to the guests and bring in Deepak Diwan now. Mr. Diwan, thank you for your patience. There was a problem with your line, and that's the reason we could not really hear much from you. Yes, please go ahead, share your analysis of this resignation.
Well, I think there was no choice left with the BJP leadership, central leadership, because see, the thing is, we have virtually law and order in the hands of the center. We have our Delhi appointed DGP there, Chief Secretary also, and all controls of the law and order is with the center. And the thing is, imagine all the paramilitary forces posted there in Manipur. They are guarding the buffer zone, which is dividing the Kuki areas and the Methi areas. And another worry is that looting of public police weapons from the police armories by the local people there. How do we recover those? And then this new organization was born, Arambai Tango Group. They are all armed people now, civilians, 50,000 of them. How do you control them? This would be a bigger task. Although the police and other central forces are carrying out these search operations and recovering the arms, but it will take lot more time. And the thing is, how do you change their thinking, which has been sort of generated there? You can't accept people being armed in the name of territorial integrity of Manipur. You are waging against the nation if you arm a civilian group. This is what has happened. This is the reality. Now Biren Singh is stuck because of the leaked tapes also. And as I was telling you, in 1993, December 31st, when there was a Congress government in Manipur, and there was a Congress government at the center had accepted governor's report, which said Chief Minister R.K. Biren Singh is siding with one community against the other community. Remember Kuki Naga clashes in which more than 1,000 people died. So there was a president rule because the government was caught by the governor. It is in the report. General V.K. Singh was the governor that time. So this has happened again now.
Okay. Okay. Miss Hazal, coming back to you. The Chief Minister having gone, and the administrative changes which have happened, the question is, can the two communities live together? I've covered them in different camps, and the anguish was so worrying and depressing. At the same time, that the buffer zone that Sir spoke about, Mr. Diwan spoke about, was there, and there were checks happening by women at the borders of these two districts. So between the hills and the plains, there is this buffer zone almost making it inaccessible.
In fact, I wanted to come to, just retaliate what Suhasji has said. Yes, there is already one, we need to acknowledge that there is already a clear geographical divide between the Métis and the Kuki-Zo communities. And to imagine that a coexistence would mean bringing them together. For instance, I am from the Kuki-Zo community and I lived in Imphal. My house has been ransacked, burned, parents driven out. So if our idea and concept of peace or coexistence is bringing me back home and placing me in that house, I think that's humanly not possible. Can we factor in the fear that has created the sense of insecurity that it has created to a lot of people who have been physically driven out of home? So to think that coexistence and peace is really to bring people and place them where they were, I think it's a very unrealistic expectation. And also, I think it's time now, as eminent panelists have said, it is now time now to really understand and get it to the bottom of the issue and find out what are the grievances that people have been holding. And I think this gives us a great time to address those so that it does not fester again and again in future. So I think we must seize the moment and understand what is it that's really ailing the people and try and fix that. But to think that we can just safely come back again and pretend as if nothing has happened, I think that would be an unrealistic expectation. Therefore, we need a committed team of people who are empathetic, who will understand the fear psychosis that has caused people, and also to address all those in the real sense.
Yes, and perhaps someone who realizes the situation and how deep the fissures are. So this is also an opportunity for the leadership, Mr. Chakma, to fix Manipur, to fix the problems of Manipur.
I think the problem has been created in such a manner because of the segregation of the population between the hills and the valley. It's almost impossible, and I agree with what Hainu is saying. But the fact remains, how do you resolve the issue? Because the problem started because of a protest which turned violent and spiraled out of control. Then, now people have taken completely different position. In the beginning, it was with respect to the scheduled tribe status of the Métis. And if central government concedes to that, then Métis, the Kukis and the Nagas will be up in the arms. And now if center concedes the demands of the Kukis that there should be separate administration, then Métis have consistently opposed. They had burned down even the state assembly when ceasefire of with the Nagas was extended to all the Naga inhabited areas. So this is where the problem is. And when I meant that both communities should be able to move, at this point of time, it's very difficult for the Kukis even to come to Imphal and take the flights. So vis-a-vis, the Métis cannot go to Ukrul via, the Kuki areas. So because the communities have hardened their position because of the suffering, it's almost impossible to find the meeting point between the demands for scheduled tribe status of the STs by the Métis and the demand for separate administration by the Kukis. I mean, if I am the administrator, I can't find it. It's very, very difficult. I mean, and that's why I think the Naga issue has also not been resolved, because despite the talks from 1997, because Nagas want Greater Nagaland, and you can do everything, but you can't divide the territory in the northeast, then it leads to another kind of violence which the central government cannot control. So I think central government is really, really in a fix. I do not know how to find the solution, but these are the bottom lines, or these are the critical issues of both the communities.
What will be the meeting point then? Hosal, you only respond to that, as someone who has been a victim of this violence. You have to unmute yourself.
I'm not, I didn't mute. I think you have unmuted me. Am I audible?
Yes, loud and clear. Please go ahead.
Okay. So I was just saying, it's also important that this time we must also look at the way forward. When we say the way forward, we also have to understand that development cannot just be Imphal-centric development anymore. We also have to understand that beyond Imphal, there are hills and mountains, the periphery, literally where the development funds trickle down to the least. So it's also time to address that institutional disparity that the Hill people have been facing. I think it's important to look into those, that anybody who comes from the center, they cannot just stop in Imphal, meet people who matter and ignore the Hill. So I think it's important for the center to also understand that this is also partly a result of decades and decades of neglect to think that Manipur is Imphal and it stops there.
Okay, and many are reading this. The timing, as we say, it becomes important. It comes ahead of the budget session in Manipur Assembly tomorrow. But it is also coming days after the Supreme Court ordered a report from the Government Forensics Lab, CFSL, after a cookie organization alleged that the Chief Minister had admitted in a leaked tape that he was responsible for the outbreak of clashes. I mean, increasingly, if you look at it, Mr. Diwan, the confession coming from the Chief Minister himself, that was the beginning of his exit.
Yes, exactly. See, the thing is, once another lab, which is Truth Lab, which Truth Labs is also used by the various courts, even the governments, and it has a. It's like, you cannot just say you're finding that 93% the voice samples are of Chief Minister. I don't think CFSL would have a different report than that. So I think in a situation like this, I think the center has decided not to face that no confidence motion and remove him. And he has done that. And the problem remains that, what is the next step? And it's not that easy. What has been created? I'm wondering if you recall after 2023 when Amit Shah visited, Home Minister visited Impal after the riots, constituted a committee. Home Ministry official was heading that, Mr. Lamba, and it was given 6 months to give report to also to point out who is behind these riots and what are the causes of it.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Diwan, Subhash Chakma and Ms. Hosel. Let's go back to Ratndeep, who continues to be with us. Ratndeep, what next for Manipur? How soon can we expect a Chief Minister?
Well, that's right. That's exactly what is being worked out. What we are given to understand that the Chief Minister, after tendering his resignation, is in his official residence. He's meeting the MLAs. There are a couple of rounds of meeting that would take place tonight. Sambit Patra, the in charge of Manipur for the party, is already there. You have A. Sharda Devi, the state BJP president. So therefore, remember, there have always been a few names doing around in terms of who can replace Mr. Biren Singh. But having said that, given the fact that there are factionalism within the BJP in Manipur, so one issue that the BJP leadership would have to now resolve is that now that Mr. Biren Singh has resigned and he is no more there, the leadership will have to perhaps bring all the MLAs of the BJP and also talk to the allies like NPP or NPF to decide upon a name. Having said that, we have also been given to understand that there have been speculations about whether the center would otherwise think of trying to bring in some other remedy in terms of this solution. There have been talks about whether for a long time in the political circles in Manipur, whether precedent rule will be implemented in Manipur or not. So that is something that we'll have to watch out for. But for the time being, we'll have to wait and watch in terms of who replaces Biren Singh. At this moment, there is no word from the BJP leadership from Manipur officially in terms of the replacement. There are a few names doing around, some backed by even the RSS, the BJP's ideologue, and there have been some very strong leaders who have been in the contention even after last assembly elections in the state, where BJP emerged as the single largest party there. So therefore, now the question which remains for the BJP leadership is that whether they will have to zero into a name on which not only there is a consensus among the BJP MLAs, also among the opposition, among the allies, and also they will also look forward to whether the Kuki Zomi MLAs also agree to a new name, and under that Chief Minister's leadership and the leadership of the governor who has been sent with a mandate in Manipur to bring in peace, they are able to start the peace talks or not. So these are very important issues. As our guests have also pointed out, it is not a quick fix that Manipur can arrive with the departure of Mr. Biren Singh. But this is yet another very important point of this political transition that is going to take place after ethnic violence, and perhaps now the political leadership of the BJP, its high command, its central leadership will have to decide in terms of who this next man is. Whether they're going to take some more time is something to watch out for. So all the meetings that are taking place in Imphal and the feedbacks going to the central high command through Mr. Sambit Patra are important. We'll have to wait and watch. And what we are picking up, there are names doing around, but they'll have to really
be
sure
vetted
about
by
this
the
name.
central leadership before it's formally announced. Ratandeep, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us and breaking that story.